Good evening and welcome to the 2025 Cooperative Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Julie Bosland. I'm the Executive Director of the Cooperative Development Foundation, your host for the evening. I just joined CDF in January, so this event is really a wonderful capstone to 9 months of being inspired by cooperators across this country. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to learn from home care cooperative leaders, both large and small, who gathered for the 9th annual Home Care Cooperative Conference here in DC. And I learned from child care cooperators out in California and Minnesota. I toured well-established food co-ops in Raleigh-Durham, and I met with community members who are doing the hard work of starting up new food co-ops through the Up and Coming Conference in Michigan. I rode and talked with new drivers co-ops in Denver and in Minneapolis, and visited with rural electrics and telecom cooperatives in North Carolina and Minnesota who've been powering and connecting rural communities. And I heard from innovative shared equity housing leaders that gathered in Chicago this year through CDF's Affordable Housing Initiative. And everywhere I went, I saw cooperators coming together, creating solutions for their communities that are self-sustaining, and making decisions together for the common good. It's been absolutely inspiring to see. I've also been really impressed with the resilience and the collaboration I see from the co-op support organizations across the country, from the Federation for Southern Cooperatives vision for their training and convening center in Epes, Alabama. Woohoo! To the powerful Cooperation Works Network, and anyone on that listserv knows there is so much wisdom that gets shared every day in that group. To the financial institutions who I regularly see at conferences, listening to what cooperators need and figuring out how to get them the capital that they need to get the cooperative off the ground or grow. Finally, I've been particularly inspired by the emerging leaders in our Cooperative Leaders and Scholars program. We have 14 with us today. You all are amazing leaders today, and you give me hope for our collective future. Thank you for being with us. And tonight we have come together to honor 4 inspiring cooperators who have left an indelible mark on the North American cooperative community. I want to thank each of you for being here to celebrate their contributions and to support the work of the Cooperative Development Foundation. That work has been going on for over 80 years now, and I am really honored to be able to lead CDF in this moment. With our outstanding board and staff, and in consultation with many of you, I'm excited to share that we have just approved a new strategic plan that will take us through the year 2030. This plan has CDF focused on building the capacity of the cooperative business community in 3 ways. First, we'll be engaging new cooperators and building their leadership and cooperative identity. Second, we'll be strengthening the national co-op support infrastructure. And third, we will be learning what it takes to really develop a local co-op economy that is thriving and well-connected. And none of this work could happen without all of the people in this room and the organizations that you represent. I especially want to acknowledge our sponsors tonight at the Co-op Heroes level. CoBank, just wave hands, CoBank. National Co-op Grocers, NCG. Yeah. Woo. National Cooperative Bank. Thank you. National Rural Electric Cooperative Association, NRECA. And the National Rural Utilities Cooperative Finance Corporation, CFC. And I want to thank all of the table sponsors who are listed in your program. We see you, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And to all of you who are not only supporting our work tonight, but do so throughout the year. We hope we'll see you all at the 5K in the spring as well, and be able to partner with you throughout the year. And finally, I want to thank the CDF team. A special shout out to Kirsty Boyette, who you all know as the mastermind behind making this all come together so seamlessly. And I want to thank the outstanding CDF Board of Directors. Such a great group of folks to work with. And if any of you are interested in joining the board, there is one seat that is open. We have just announced that, and we are taking applications. So check CDF's social media, and we would love to have you apply. And now I get to turn the microphone over to tonight's MC, John Holsclaw IV. John is the president and CEO of Rochdale Capital, the executive vice president and chief policy officer of NCB, and CDF's board chair. John is fantastic to work with. He is so knowledgeable. He's a great cooperator, a great connector, and a true champion of building an inclusive economy that works for everyone. So please help me in welcoming John to the stage.
Thank you so much, Julie. I will say this, one of the highest honors that I get to do in regards to being the board chair of CDF is to work with this amazing board of directors as well as staff. It's an honor to be here. Let me be very clear about this. I am not Kathy Mann. I am not Solandy Brown. Let me let you temper your expectations a little bit. I did MC this back in 2022, but you all probably were in a COVID fog, so you don't even remember my slender self as well as the person that I was. But I do practice the 3 B's of speaking and MCing. Number 1, be brief. Number 2, be concise. And number 3, be gone. All right, let's do this. It is an honor to be here tonight. Tonight we come together for many cooperative sectors in many parts of the world to honor our co-op leaders. The Cooperative Hall of Fame is dedicated to recognizing individuals who have been and continue to be committed to using cooperatives as humane and equitable businesses, providing an equitable economic voice for workers, consumers, farmers, and small business. We honor the commitment and dedication of those who understand how cooperatives can make a meaningful and lasting difference in the lives of workers, members, customers, and the communities they serve. We hope to take away from this event inspiration and renewed energy. 3 things that I heard at the Impact Conference, and if you were not able to make it, I'm telling you, I heard fight, I heard storytelling, and I heard resilience. And if you sit here and tell me that cooperatives are not resilient, we can go outside after this dinner is over and have a conversation, as we say where I'm from, by the wheelhouse, right? If you don't know what wheelhouse is, use the Google machine to find out for that. So we hope to take away from the night inspiration, renewed energy for our own work advancing cooperatives and inclusion as a better way of doing business and to help ensure all are included in. Let me say that again. All are included in and can benefit from a truly and inclusive economy. One of the highlights of the Hall of Fame is the reunion of past inductees, which we have now more than 200. Please refer to your program to find the names of these individuals and our heroes. And as we have an impressive group of cooperative leaders united here tonight, we would like to recognize them. As I call your name, please join us on the stage for a group photo. We would like also to invite our CLS program participants. If you don't know what CLS is, it's Cooperative Leaders and Scholars, okay? They're the emerging leaders, and they're the folks that when I'm sitting in the crowd back in the day, they're gonna be the ones on the stage, right? Current and alums to join us on stage for a photo. So our inductees from the past include Andy Riker, Ann Holt. You can clap it up, scream it up, woo it up. Come on now. Come on now. We ain't gotta be quiet up in here. We all family. Let's do this. Ben Burkett, Judy Z. Watts, Karen Zimbelman, Larry Blanchard, Merlin Schroe, Dr. Martin Lowry, he told me to say Lowry, Michael Mercer, Paul Hazen, and Terry Appleby. Did I miss anybody? And if I did, please come up. TL, AKA Terry Lewis. Let's do it. You are our heroes, and we're thrilled to have so many of you with us tonight. Let's get that photo. CLS folks, come up as well. Now listen to Sam here. I'll get out of the way, and then we'll make this happen. All righty. So after that, enjoy your dinner. We'll be back with the 2025 induction ceremony after the dinner is served. Thank you so much. So we'll get to heroes first. My colleague Dami's telling me, get to heroes first, and then we'll get to future heroes and future Hall of Famers after that. So CLS. I don't know what the Gen Z say, but hold what you got. Then we'll get back to you in a second.
I'm not sure how they're...
Oh, they're not in the photos. And just been fighting on the program. Why can't we just all cooperate? Where's Kathy? Kathy, direct us. Yeah, where's Kathy? We're so used to direction. What do we do today? Where is she? Kathy. We're like, what, do we smile? Do we...
Hold on. Hall of Famers, don't go back to your seat because we want to get a photo of you with the CLS. Hall of Famers, don't go back. Let's do CLS now, and then we'll get to everyone else. Let's get everybody together now. All the Hall of Famers and CLS now. All the Hall of Famers and CLS now. All right. Get over here. All right. Everybody finish your vegetarian dishes or your chicken, or as they say where I'm from, your yard bird, and your desserts. Let's go. Let's go. Anyone who serves with me on the CDF board knows that I start early and I always finish early, so on our board meetings. That said, all right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. It's time to get down to business. All right, CLS. All right, CLS. You be together for another year. All right, all right. So let's get down to business, everybody. Tonight we pay tribute to 4 outstanding leaders: Lori Sapo, Randy Lee, J.T. Webb, and Estelle Witherspoon. Each a true, a round of applause. Here we go. Each is a true cooperative leader, and as you will see in each video, each has a different and unique path to cooperatives. Their contributions have made a lasting mark on cooperatives and the lives of people in the communities in which they worked. We thank the selection committee for their efforts in bringing these heroes to us. Tonight, we honor each inductee individually with a video and invite words from the nominating organizations and/or the inductees. After the video production, we will ask the inductee and the nominating organizations to come to the podium. Let's get started. So now we'll move on to the first award presentation. The Hall of Fame recognizes outstanding cooperators. This year, we continue a new tradition we started a few years ago, recognizing those who have gone unrecognized for far too long. Tonight, we honor Estelle Witherspoon as our unsung cooperative hero. Please turn your attention to the screen for the video honoring Estelle Witherspoon.
Estelle Witherspoon, a spirited organizer and civil rights activist who marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Senator John Lewis, and others from Selma to Montgomery in 1965, helped transform economic reality for Black women artisans and their families in Wilcox County, Alabama, through the Freedom Quilting Bee. Mrs. Witherspoon was born in 1916 in Rehoboth, now Alberta, Alabama, spending her entire life as a citizen of Wilcox County. Using the honorific Mrs. tonight acknowledges that, in that time, few Black women would have been addressed by whites with this signifier of respect. The young Estelle Witherspoon seized every small opportunity to expand her education. At school, she developed her skills in reading, writing, and math, all of which she gave back to the quilting bee in her adulthood. In a time and place where many children of sharecropping families attended school irregularly, Witherspoon was lucky to have a dedicated teacher, Miss Irene Bryant.
Despite her limited licensure, Ms. Bryant allowed motivated students like Estelle, if their parents could spare them, to return year after year upon completion of 6th grade. In this way, Estelle was able to achieve an education equivalent to 12th grade or even early college when traditional high school was unaffordable. This instinct of Mrs. Witherspoon to take what small privileges she had and return them manifold to the benefit of her community would consistently characterize her work with the cooperative movement throughout her career.
In 1966, Mrs. Witherspoon composed a fateful letter to Father Francis Walter requesting his help in setting up a quilting cooperative. Father Francis had recently begun working with the quilters of Gee's Bend, Alabama, and facilitated the first auction of Gee's Bend quilts in New York City. Father Francis and Mrs. Witherspoon agreed that a workers' cooperative organization had the most potential to empower the Black women of Wilcox County, one of the poorest places in Alabama, with many families trapped in the exploitative sharecropping economy. On April 2, 1966, the Freedom Quilting Bee was legally incorporated with Mrs. Witherspoon as its president. Her home served as its first address. More than simply collaborating well with like-minded women, Mrs. Witherspoon had the singular gift of bringing strangers into her fold. As Freedom Quilting Bee's sales manager, she worked closely with gallerists, business people, buyers, Wall Street brokers, and leaders of other cooperatives. According to her daughter, Louise Williams, she was a true believer that you should treat everyone right, not treat them how they treat you, but treat them right and you will prevail, even when confronted by those opposing her work. Witherspoon's radical hospitality and ability to negotiate and collaborate with people from all walks of life would prove to be the driving force of the Quilting Bee for decades to come.
Some of the many benefits of Freedom Quilting Bee's success extended beyond the members of the co-op. They established a daycare center, after-school programs, summer reading programs, available to all community members. Freedom Quilting Bee also shared their assets by making their buildings accessible to the community, and in one case they sold 8 lots of land to families who had been evicted from sharecropping just because they had registered to vote or attended civil rights meetings.
Under Mrs. Witherspoon's leadership, Freedom Quilting Bee was one of the 22 founding members of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. Of those charter members, Freedom Quilting Bee was the smallest and the only one run entirely by women. Estelle Witherspoon's legacy goes beyond rectifying the economic injustice and deprivation of the communities she served. The success of Freedom Quilting Bee includes recognition and respect for the quilter's artistry. Today, quilts hang in prestigious museums across the U.S. and abroad. It is a long, and some might say unlikely journey from the dirt roads and sharecroppers' fields of Wilcox County to the pages of Vogue and House Beautiful and the walls of the Smithsonian Institute. It certainly cannot have been an easy one, yet Estelle Witherspoon traveled that journey, and importantly, she did so not alone, but with her fellow co-op members by her side at every step. We hereby honor the light of an unsung hero, and with her all-black women whose hard work, culture, and artistry can be seen stitched into the very fabric of Freedom Quilting Bee. For her foresight, leadership, and marketing skills, but also her dedication and cooperative spirit, we honor Estelle Witherspoon tonight with induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Cornelius Blanding to the stage to say of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives to say a few words about Estelle Witherspoon.
Thank you, John. John told me before I got up here that John and I have drinks every year before this event. Nobody had to know that. To make sure we're good for the event. No, thanks, John. He told me I had 2 minutes, but I told John that Kirsty told me I had 5 minutes. I flew in from Georgia, so 2 minutes in D.C. is 5 minutes in Georgia. Before I go any further, let me say congratulations to the honorees tonight, Lori, Randy, and Tom, who will be coming up after this. Congratulations, and thank you for a job well done. I want to also extend a huge thank you to from the Witherspoon family who couldn't be here tonight. You saw in the video that airing of the quilts happens every year, and it happened this weekend, and there's a lot of events that happen after that, so they couldn't be here for the airing of the events tonight. So they send their regrets, and as you can see, I thought I was going to be asked to pull up the rear, but I'm asked to kick this thing off. So let's kick it off. Forgive my manners. Let me say good evening, everyone. I'm Cornelius Blanding, Executive Director of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, a board member of NCBA CLUSA, and a proud member of this cooperative community. Tonight, we gather not just to celebrate a milestone in cooperative history and these living heroes that you'll be honoring tonight, but to honor the legacy that continues to shape our movement, even in absence. It is with deep pride and emotion that I speak on behalf of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, its board of directors, our members, and staff, as we celebrate the posthumous induction of our founding member, Ms. Estelle Witherspoon, into the Cooperative Hall of Fame. Ms. Estelle Witherspoon was a founding member of the Freedom Quilting Bee, which was one of the 22 cooperatives that founded the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. But she was more than one of the founders. She was a visionary. Ms. Estelle Witherspoon was a builder. She was a believer in the power of people coming together, not for profit, not for personal gain, but for community, equity, and shared purpose. But more importantly, for their livelihoods and their lives. Long before cooperatives were widely recognized in communities in the South as instruments for cooperative and transformative change, and someone who constantly reminded everyone. Ms. Estelle Witherspoon was already living those values, often ahead of the curve and always grounded in service. She helped lay the very foundation of our organization, not with fanfare, but with fierce courage, dedication, integrity, and humility. To those who knew Ms. Estelle Witherspoon, she was a mentor, a steady voice of reason, and someone who constantly reminded them all, often with very few words, why they and we do this work together. To those of us like me who came after, her legacy is visible in every cooperative principle that we practice, every community we uplift, and every barrier we challenge together. This honor tonight reminds us that the cooperative movement does not forget. It remembers those who plant seeds, even if they do not live to see them bloom. It honors those of us who lead not for recognition, but for justice and opportunity. Ms. Estelle Witherspoon's impact lives on in our mission, in our values, and in our continued commitment to building an economy that works for all. On behalf of the entire Federation of Southern Cooperatives family, Jessica and Margaret, for your nomination. We thank CDF and the Cooperative Hall of Fame Committee for recognizing Ms. Estelle Witherspoon's extraordinary contributions. And to Ms. Estelle Witherspoon's family and loved ones who couldn't be here with us tonight, we are forever grateful for the time that she gave to her community, the Freedom Quilting Bee, the Federation, the cooperative movement, the civil rights movement, and to this nation. Let us continue to walk in Miss Estelle Witherspoon's footsteps with courage, with compassion, and with the unwavering belief that together we can build something better. On behalf of Mrs. Estelle Witherspoon's family and the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, thank you.
You know, my father always told me that traditions were supposed to be kept quiet. So thank you, Cornelius. In front of my bank boss, my bank colleagues, my Rochdale board boss, and my colleagues for putting me on. No, they were not going to find out until my bank boss got the expense reports. Thank goodness the CFO's not here tonight. Yes, he is. He's right there. I'm sorry. Man, you are messing up right now, bro. Hey, Alan. Okay, let's keep it moving. Lord have mercy. All right. The next inductee, Lori Seppo, has championed. Let's give it up. Come on now. I'm sorry, Lloyd, but I'm trying to get past this cat over here, man. I'm telling you, Lord have mercy. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Let's go. North Dakota. Let's go. All right. Has championed rural and frontier cooperative development in North Dakota for more than 3 decades. 3 decades. I mean, longer than I've been alive, okay? Please turn your attention to the screen for the video honoring Lori.
Lori Sappo has been a champion in rural cooperative development for more than 30 years. From the halls of the legislature to the most remote tribal and rural communities, she has inspired and mobilized North Dakotans to improve their quality of life with the spirit of a dreamer and the tenacity of a doer. Lori was born on June 2, 1962 in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Her father's work in rural cooperatives led the family of 5 to the tightly knit small community of Park River, where Lori's parents prioritized shopping local, even if the variety was limited, or when it stretched the household budget. At a summer dance on her birthday, Lori met Kurt Sappo. The high school sweethearts later married and raised 2 children, Amanda and Eric, and have 2 grandchildren, Braden and Avery. Lori confesses to having always been a hopeless introvert. So when she graduated from high school, she was surprised when her teachers presented her with the Danforth I Dare You Leadership Award. Receiving that award encouraged her to reach further, beyond her comfort zone, and to recognize her potential. After high school, at a time when options for young women in rural North Dakota were limited, Lori attended an unaccredited trade school and became an administrative assistant for a community development organization. She was intrigued by the work, but frustrated that her limited education was preventing her career advancement. With 2 young children and a full-time job, she went back to school and graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management and Organizational Leadership from the University of Mary. Having seen cooperative development projects while working with the State Ag Development Fund, Lori yearned to be part of the action. In 1998, She was hired by the North Dakota Association of Rural Electric Cooperatives. Her first co-op job became a 26-year journey. In her position, Lori directed the Rural Electric Cooperative Development Center. Most of the many tools in its toolbox were nurtured by Lori, including the Rural Development Finance Corporation's $9 million revolving loan fund and the North Dakota Rural Electric Cooperative Foundation. Lori may have helped to secure significant resources for this work, but some of her favorite projects were in little communities with big dreams. An avid gardener, Lori deeply appreciates the connection between food and people. By the time the COVID-19 pandemic laid bare the brokenness in the food supply chain, Lori was already hard at work on the issue. In a state with twice as many cows as people, the shortage of beef was due not to supply, but to a lack of processing capacity. Today, thanks to Lori, 7 small communities have expanded meat processing capacity, including Bowdoin, North Dakota, whose total population is around half the size of a typical Cooperative Hall of Fame audience. Hardworking families everywhere struggle to find affordable childcare, but in rural areas, costs can consume upwards of a third of the average household budget. Lori knew of working parents who sent their children hours away to live with grandparents, seeing their kids only every couple of weeks due to the absence of affordable care. Recognizing that cookie-cutter approaches don't work for all, especially in the many North Dakotan communities with fewer than 500 people, Lori drew from the power and flexibility of the cooperative model to find the solution. In 2015, she worked with local businesses and area families to form Energy Capital Child Care Cooperative. Industry and childcare are critical for a thriving community, but as Lori once noted, losing food is a dagger to the heart. Over 2/3 of North Dakota's counties have 6 or fewer people per square mile. And even before the pandemic, rural groceries were failing, and precipitously so. In 2023, after a decade of work by Lori, the success of the Rural Access Distribution Cooperative, the first known of its kind in the United States, led to a $1 million appropriation from the North Dakota legislature for a pilot grant program. Today, the RAD cooperative model is being replicated in both rural and inner-city settings, from Kansas to the Bronx. Ever pragmatic, Lori asserts that success is saying goodbye. Being able to step away from a cooperative, project, or community means there is sustainable momentum and that others have followed Lori's example and dared to lead. Arvid Knutson often said to his young daughter, "You know, Lori, you should try working for the co-ops." How lucky for North Dakota and for all of us that she heeded those wise words. For decades of innovative cooperative development in some of the most sparsely populated and resource-challenged areas of rural America, with the hard work and optimism that characterizes the people of North Dakota, we honor Lori Sapo tonight with induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I have Josh Kramer and Lori Sapo on stage with me now. The mic is yours.
Thank you, John. Ooh, I can see without my glasses. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here tonight among a crowd filled with leaders of the cooperative movement. When you experience something special, you see it in people's faces and you feel it deep down. A mentor once told me, some people just have the fire in their belly, and when you meet them, you just know. This room is full of those people tonight as we honor this year's inductees. A while back, when I mentioned to Lori that we'd be nominating her for the Cooperative Hall of Fame, she chuckled and laughed it off and said, "This isn't for regular people like me." I responded with, "No, Lori, it's exactly for people like you." Lori is a humble servant leader, an unassuming, steady hand behind the scenes, never seeking recognition or credit. But that is what makes Lori so unique and deserving of this honor. During her time working and leading our Cooperative Development Center at the North Dakota Association of Rural Electric Cooperatives, she championed many issues others did not. Working in the trenches, improving rural access to food, childcare, and basic services, she recognized the free market doesn't always serve rural and frontier places. And while others jettisoned these areas, she leveraged the cooperative model to improve them by organizing childcare co-ops, meat processing cooperatives. She helped launch the first rural access and distribution cooperative in the United States. Lori believes strongly in transformational change and stood strong, leading others through what might be uncomfortable. She's been a boots on the ground cooperative leader, working in the smallest, most rural, remote communities to some of the largest. Lori helped rural people regain control and challenge others to find their voice. And there's no doubt things are better because of Lori Sapu. And Lori, on behalf of your friends and from the RECs in North Dakota and your colleagues, we're proud of you. So, and now please join me in congratulating Lori on her much-deserved place in the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
My whole goal is just not to cry. Good evening, everyone. Standing here tonight, I feel an overwhelming mix of gratitude and humility. Being inducted into the Cooperative Hall of Fame is nothing I ever imagined when I began this work. It's an extraordinary honor for me, and I thank the Cooperative Development Foundation and the National Cooperative Business Association for selecting me for this recognition. This honor doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to the countless people I worked alongside in rural towns. People who believed in the power of cooperation and never stopped striving for a better future. I watched farmers, business owners, parents, and neighbors roll up their sleeves to bring food access, childcare, healthcare, meat processing, and so much more to their communities. Their determination inspired me every single day. I am grateful to the North Dakota Association of Rural Electric Cooperatives and its members, the Rural Development Finance Corporation, and the broadband cooperatives, whose support made it possible to turn ideas into real solutions. They gave me the freedom to focus on rural quality of life, and with their investment, I was able to learn from people throughout the country and build relationships that I will always treasure. I'm especially thankful for peers nationwide who stood with us when we were piloting new ideas. I learned so much from them and always felt a responsibility to pay that learning forward. I also want to recognize my mom and my late dad. My dad worked for a cooperative while I was growing up and encouraged me to seek employment with a cooperative as an adult. Both of my parents lived out that cooperative spirit through their community participation, and their example shaped my path in life. To my colleagues and leaders at NDA REC, both present and past, you were visionaries, advocates, and friends who always pushed me to do better. You were my partners in moving the development of cooperatives forward. A special thank you goes to my former boss, Josh Kramer, who believed that I belonged in this Hall of Fame and moved that nomination forward. And of course, my family. Your steady support gave me the freedom to give this work my all. You were patient when my days ran long and travels kept me away, and my attention was pulled towards the projects I was developing instead of home. Yeah, you never wavered. You cheered me on and gave me the perspective when I needed it. You made sure that I always had a place of love and encouragement to return to. Gosh, I'm sorry. Through every step of this journey, you are my anchor and my greatest blessing, and thank you. This induction may carry my name, but it truly represents a network of people who chose community over isolation, cooperation over competition, and hope over despair. That is the cooperative spirit, and I'm so proud to have spent my life being a part of it. Thank you for this honor. I'll carry it with deep gratitude and the knowledge that it was never really about me, it was always about us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Lori. Thank you so much. So where I'm from in the country, when that happens, people just say, "Take your time, take your time." You might get a yeah, or you might take your time, take your time. So thank you so much, Lori, for that. I appreciate that. So let's move on to our next awardee. Let me turn my page here. So our next inductee spent 50 years transforming natural food and co-op grocers in the U.S. Please turn your attention to the screen for the video honoring Randy Lee.
For nearly 50 years, Randy Lee worked to strengthen the natural foods grocery cooperative system in Seattle and beyond. He viewed cooperatives through an activist lens, a perspective that brought a deep understanding of what motivates people and how to build lasting change. Randy Lee was born the 7th of December, 1946 in Colfax, Washington. His father's work with the FBI took them east to Allentown, Pennsylvania, where Randy's school days were rounded out with scouting, cello, foreign car rallying, and the debating society. Upon returning to the West Coast to attend the University of Washington, Randy dove into student government, then took a year's hiatus to work for the U.S. National Student Association, or USNSA. Randy returned to UW and had nearly completed a degree in economics when another opportunity beckoned, a chance to join former colleagues from USNSA who were working for the National Vietnam Moratorium Committee. This led to community organizing with Saul Alinsky's Industrial Areas Foundation in Chicago. That work was an important step in Randy's journey toward embracing the cooperative structure. Returning to Seattle, he moved into a group house with friends who just happened to be members of Puget Consumers Co-op. Needing a job, he sat in on board and staff meetings at the co-op to learn more. He accepted a position as the assistant store manager, only later learning that the manager was leaving soon, and it was expected that he'd step into the role. Randy embraced the challenge, seeing an opportunity to grow and to make the co-op grow. He focused on making the co-op a better place to work, as well as prioritizing health and nutrition in the store's offerings. He later completed his undergraduate degree in order to enroll in the University of Washington's Executive MBA program, an investment by the co-op which he notes made possible the rest of his career at PCC. Today, PCC Community Markets is the nation's largest consumer-owned grocer with 16 stores, more than 100,000 members, and $450 million in annual revenue. Just as importantly, the co-op has provided 1.5 million meals to communities in need and served more than 7,000 students through its PCC cooking class program, both initiatives started under Randy's tutelage. A number of years after Randy started working for PCC, he was reading the newspaper at the bus stop at the end of the day when a young woman passed him on foot and said, "If you're waiting for the 71, it's already gone by." She'd missed the bus herself and was walking home. Randy said thanks and went back to his paper, but a moment later, struck by her appearance and kindness, decided to catch up with her, saying, "Well then, I might as well walk home too." Almost 40 years later, he says it's still the best impulsive decision of his life. But many of Randy's actions were more strategic. Seeing a need to preserve farmland in Washington state, he led a grassroots effort mobilizing PCC members to create and fund the PCC Farmland Trust, now known as the Washington Farmland Trust, which to date has conserved 29 farm properties totaling over 3,000 acres. Randy was one of the original six-pack of food co-op representatives who aligned to create the National Cooperative Grocers Association and guided NCG's 2004 reorganization from a regional co-op structure to a national cooperative. In retirement, Randy enjoys golf, fly fishing, hiking, and backpacking, noting a 2-week raft trip through the Grand Canyon as perhaps the most remarkable of his many outdoor experiences. He also relishes reading and hanging out at home without an agenda. As he puts it, what's not to love about 7-day weekends? That being said, Randy's legacy of hard work and strategic decision-making carries on, affecting not just PCC, but all natural foods grocery co-ops in the U.S. and the farmland that sustains them. For a career spent building a profitable cooperative system that encompasses food, land, and people, informed by a head for business and a heart for organizing, we honor Randy Lee tonight with induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Could I please have Terry Appleby and Randy Lee to join me here on stage? Terry, you go first and then you go second. Yeah, I go first. Yeah,
Beat it. Just joking. It's an honor to be here with you all, so many friends and cooperators. We who have chosen to make our careers working in cooperatives have a responsibility to make our organizations successful, sustainable, and growing in service to our members. We attempt to conduct ourselves according to principles and values. Since 1970, Randy Lee has been a cooperative leader according to these aspirations. For Puget Consumers Co-op, he became the indispensable person. Really? Is that true? I think so. A gifted leader and a humble individual willing to step into any role in which he was needed. He exemplifies the phrase, "No margin, no mission." By first making sure the cooperative was financially sound and serving its members and community. A pragmatic and moral leader, true to his values and cooperative principles. Randy is a pragmatic, caring voice in, sorry, I can't read very well with these glasses. In a sometimes over-idealistic world. I know this because he and I have had many conversations about idealism and practicality, and he usually wins. He's a planner and an analyst intent on forward progress, helping PCC grow from a single location, selling grain and flour out of garbage cans, into a model food co-op with multiple locations, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and doing incredible things for workers, members, and the community. As an inspirational leader, he's ever ready to provide insightful counsel and invaluable analysis, always maintaining a posture of equanimity. The indispensable person in the right place, giving pragmatic advice on building the cooperative business, supporting new leadership, confident in his own competence, unworried about what role he played, stepping up to new responsibilities ever as his knowledge grew. I'm proud to be a friend of Randy Lee's, and I'm delighted to introduce Randy as an inductee into the National Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Well, hello, everyone. This is actually pretty cool here. I was kind of terrified of this speech for a while, but Lori, I'm really with you. Way back in 1970, a young 23-year-old me was drawn to cooperatives as a tool for community organizing. Somewhat serendipitously, after attending a couple of meetings, as mentioned in the film, of my little hole-in-the-wall food co-op, Puget Consumers Co-op, the manager offered me a job at the store. I thought, okay. This would allow me to learn how the cooperative worked from the inside and perhaps use the proven economic model of consumer co-ops in the communities there in my hometown. After all, REI and Group Health were both founded in Seattle, so why not a food co-op? Well, instead of me taking the PCC model elsewhere, it captivated me and swallowed me whole for nearly 50 years. As my wife of 37 years would certainly agree. I found, as I'd hoped, that inside this economic structure, you could be surrounded by your best values of integrity and giving back to your community by leveraging the we, not I, of consumer ownership to do pretty neat things: excellent products, excellent jobs, and consumer education. Provided, and it was not an option, we took care of and kept our financial house in order. That's the theme here. Because then, as that little co-op evolved and grew financially healthy and added more stores in more communities, we could say yes to PCC board, staff, and later Organic Standards board member Goldie Coughlin, who thought we should be doing more in educating our members and member owners on how to use and enjoy our great products. Thus, the FoodWorks, now PCC Cooks, program of classes began and over the years educated thousands on all things food. And we could say yes to staff member Jody Eliasson when she proposed organizing a fundraising campaign from our foodie membership that she turned into the PCC Farmland Trust. Now, that trust, now the Washington Farmland Trust, has kept several thousand acres in the hands of farmers instead of losing them to development. Okay. But then, as more food co-ops continue to open around the country, some also with multiple stores, the potential for pursuing economies of scale through PCC and a handful of them together to say the biggest financial yes of them all, funding the National Co-op Grocers Association, now NCG. First rate. NCG was quickly able to deliver immensely more to a membership of many dozens of food co-ops that absolutely had to have a better supply chain to cope with the growing spread of natural foods through the conventional food industry and through new and very well-capitalized public companies. Initiatives like these, along with loans to other co-ops in the very early years, followed by major dollar and energy investments in our wholesale supply lines, were possible both because we embraced the rising tide of natural foods and because we ran our little consumer co-op as a business first. Financial health was essential to survive, to grow, and to support the creativity of our expanding cooperative community. PCC's growth was also enabled by diligently cultivating a board of trustees that opted for growth and for economies of scale so many years ago. They recognized that what was possible with a bigger co-op that couldn't happen as isolated islands, that it was just fine to become a chain, goodness, and that in fact a larger PCC would be empowering to its member owners and enable cooperative principles to reach far more people. To their great credit, they also recognized as we grew that we had done more than enough experimenting with democratic management. Right, Terry? Terry was there, he knows well. They chose to bring in far greater expertise than when it was needed, bringing us retail skill sets we just didn't have. But with CEOs like Jeff Volt over there, and his outstanding successors like current PCC CEO Chris Srinivasan, also happily over there, had in spades, and we needed more spades. I loved my time in finance and on boards that moved the cooperative and values-driven train along its sometimes perilous tracks. But never did I imagine it would all bring me to this podium tonight. So thank you to the individuals who supported and then shocked me with my nomination to this esteemed Hall of Fame. Thank you to the wonderful fellow cooperators I had the privilege to work with over the years. A tiny but very special handful of them are here tonight. And finally, thank you to CDF with its institutional strength to keep us coming back together to celebrate our progress and to learn from each other on how to do more in advancing the cooperative economic model. Thank you.
I mean, talk about food security. Come on now. And one more hand, a round of applause for Mr. Lee. Awesome. Now to our last awardee. With her career spanning cooperative sectors and industries in Canada and in the United States, our next inductee has dedicated his career to educating cooperators worldwide. Please turn your attention to the screen for the video honoring J. Tom Webb.
Tom Webb has served tirelessly for over 45 years as a cooperative movement builder, manager, educator, convener, author, speaker, board director, and volunteer. Tom's career has spanned cooperative industries and sectors in Canada and the USA, ranging from grocery to IT, multi-stakeholder co-ops to credit unions and beyond. But at the core of his work is a key pillar of the cooperative identity, education. One of the finest outcomes of his work is the Master of Management Cooperatives and Credit Unions program at St. Mary's University in Nova Scotia, Canada. Born on October 22, 1946, Tom was formally introduced to a life of cooperativism when his parents opened an account for him in the Bergen Grand Credit Union in Antigonish when he was just 4 days old. He has maintained credit union membership for 78 years. Along with his sister and 2 brothers, Tom grew up immersed in the cooperative culture of the Antigonish movement, which grappled with the dire economic conditions facing farmers, fishers, miners, and others in northeastern Nova Scotia in the first half of the 20th century. Active in scouts, hockey, hiking, fishing, and hunting, and serving as an altar boy, Tom graduated from Antigonish High School and completed degrees in politics at St. Francis Xavier University and Carleton University. While at university, he met a nursing student at St. Martha's Hospital in Antigonish on a blind date. They later married and raised 5 children, 3 of them adopted: Tara, Cody, Centoya, Amber, and Matthew. 56 years later, they are the proud grandparents of 7. Early in Tom's career, he worked as an assistant and advisor to 2 cabinet ministers and the Prime Minister, where his focus was on regional development. After years of watching billions spent on incentives to corporations for job creation in Atlantic Canada, he was dismayed to discover that unemployment and family incomes were unchanged. Inspired by the worker co-ops he observed on visits to Emilia-Romagna, Italy, and the Basque region of Spain, whose cooperative ecosystems figure strongly in today's master's program and study tours, Tom re-engaged with his co-op roots and began a 45-year career. As director for the Extension Department at St. Francis Xavier University, his experience providing education on co-ops and community development revealed a gap in knowledge in co-op professionals. Seeing a need for a formal management degree program, specifically for cooperatives, he began to seek out a university that would provide accreditation. After much persistence, creativity, and collaboration, he established the Master of Management, Cooperatives, and Credit Unions program at St. Mary's University in Nova Scotia. Now the most internationally renowned English language master's level university programs in the field of cooperative business, offered fully online to cooperators around the world. Today, this program and many others are supported by the International Center for Cooperative Management, all overseen by a multi-stakeholder co-op, the Cooperative Management Education Cooperative, or CMEC, which now includes 80 members in 10 countries. Recognizing the need for both financial and non-financial performance analysis in co-ops, Tom also founded the Center of Excellence in Accounting and Reporting for Cooperatives, or CERC, at St. Mary's University. For 15 years, Tom led annual study tours for the center, introducing cooperators from around the world to the successful cooperative complexes in Spain and Italy. Tom continues to be involved in the work of ICCM, and his mentorship has left its mark on hundreds of the center's students and program participants, many of whom are now in leadership roles in the cooperative movements in the US, Canada, and around the world. While gardening and splitting wood takes up a good bit of his time in retirement, Tom has stayed connected to cooperatives through board service, consultancy work, and writing. Tom has noted that his co-op heroes are Moses Cody, a driving force behind the Antigonish movement, and Don Jose Maria Arizmendi Arrieta, the founder of the Mondragon Worker Cooperative Network. For his lifelong commitment to building cooperatives through education, Tom Webb joins the ranks of cooperative heroes worldwide as we honor him tonight with induction into the Cooperative Hall of Fame.
Awesome. I'd like to invite Urban, Sonia, and Karen to the stage for a few remarks.
All right, I can do this. All right. So let's see. As much as I'd like to say that it was true, I am not John Holtzclaw IV. For what it's worth, I'm Urban Kroll III. But that still only gets me 90 seconds. So I want to start quickly just by thanking CDF for this honor and echo Doug's comments earlier today. It's just it's so important for us to be gathering together, especially at times like this. And one thing I always notice about these gatherings is while we're honoring individuals for the Co-op Hall of Fame, they always bring it back to their relationships, our interconnectedness, and all the work that we do together as a movement. And I'm sure most of you can tell stories about someone you met along the way who made all the difference for you and convinced you that you had a path and it was important to continue. And Tom Webb is one of those people for me. But I also want to acknowledge I didn't discover Tom Webb. Terry Appleby, one of our other Hall of Fame inductees here, was a longtime friend of Tom's, and his co-op, Hanover Consumer Co-op, was one of the first members of CMEC, making the program possible. Paul Hazen, who was then CEO at NCBA, played a key role in giving Tom and other people in the program confidence to move forward. And it was also just by chance that, I hate to say it, but a little more than 20 years ago, I opened an email from Chuck Schneider, NCBA CEO, announcing a scholarship program for this new program in cooperative management. And I took it on and really haven't looked back from that. So I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity, and particularly Karen and Sonia for the opportunity to keep working with them as we continue to build on Tom's legacy. And with that, I just want to ask Karen to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening. Now I think I have about 60 seconds. We'll see how that goes. So in 2012, I became the new Tom. And that was February 2012. Marion, his lovely wife, wanted him to retire. A month later, and this just to express the importance of his relationships in this country, Tom and I took a trip together to Washington, D.C. Again, back to the importance of relationships, meeting people in person. We went together to visit the office of NCB, NRECA, and NCBA. So that's just one example of Tom and what he really instilled in me, the importance of international solidarity, the relationships around the world, the hard work he put into that, the value of surrounding ourselves with community and with people that hold dear this set of shared value. So I'd just say Tom is deeply committed to authentic cooperation. He embodies the spirit of this global to local sector and movement. And I like how Tom says he's not retired. He is re-exhausted. And he remains very active in the cooperative movement, leading efforts such as new community or cooperative housing and community energy projects in his province. He is both loved and respected, and I'm grateful to have him in my network. So over to Sonia for the final word.
Yeah, we couldn't stick to two people, so we had to all say a word. So I'll just tell you how the whole thing started, which is with a bottle of whiskey in a hotel room. This was somewhere, Moncton, I don't know, Nova Scotia. Tom and Sid Bobihushi, who were in Coop Atlantic at the time, Consumer Cooperative, cooked it up around that bottle of whiskey. I don't know if they kept the bottle. We should really frame it. And they figured they needed a business degree for cooperative leaders because they understood that they're, at the time, leaders of the cooperative they were a part of were really MBA graduates and didn't quite know what to do with the cooperative model. And so that's how the whole thing started, but they figured, you know what, this cannot be local, it has to be international, and went and got support from NCBA and the American movement. They got support from the UK movement, and this became an international cooperative that came to a university to offer this degree. So many of you know Tom from the travels that you all had together, and it's really been a proud moment for us to honor him and to be a part of all of his journey and our all collective journeys, because I see here graduates. There's a whole bunch of people you can just wave. Woohoo! Who was there and who were there? Come on, don't be shy. So we have people who graduated from the degree. We have people who were here in the beginning with Tom. And as I'll just say, we are so happy that he's honored. He deserves it, and we are very happy to trail after Tom, hopefully, into the future. Thank you.
They just said, look, one speaker's listed, we're gonna put 3 down here. We good. Hall of Fame don't happen but one time. Don't take the mic. Anyway, love y'all. That said, thank you so much. Tom couldn't be with us tonight, but he did share a video with us, so please turn your attention to the screen.
Dear cooperative friends, I have been fortunate over the past 40 years to have had many opportunities to collaborate with cooperative friends in the United States, hosting visitors intrigued by our combination of farm, retail cooperatives unified by a single second-tier co-op in Atlantic Canada, developing, marketing our cooperative advantage workshops in the U.S. Back in 2014, I also had the honor of serving as the keynote speaker at the annual meeting of your Neighborhood Food Cooperative Association, where I offered my perspective on the cooperative advantage in challenging times, a message that sadly would seem just as relevant today. Over many years, I have had a lot of collaborative experiences with amazing people in U.S. co-ops and credit unions. With Paul Hazen at the NCBA and later the OCDC, with Urban Kroll and Suzette Snow Cobb with the NFCA, with the Credit Union Development Education sessions in Seattle, with Debbie Wege and Loretta Saarinen at BECU, with Ann Hoyt at the University of Wisconsin, Sean Doyle and Patricia Cumby in Madison, Wisconsin, and with the United States students in our program. They were a vital part of a set of global partners like Bob Burleton and Pauline Green in the UK and dozens more in Italy, the Basque Country of Spain, New Zealand, and Australia. What those contacts made clear was that the shared purpose, values, and principles of cooperation are part of human nature worldwide. Human beings are not social or individual. They are both social and individual. Cooperation and altruism are embedded in humanity by evolution. Cooperatives give wings to the best in human nature. Globally, we find ourselves in troubling times. Our dominant economic system serves the wealthy very well, but increasingly fails to meet the needs of most people. It creates an enormous and growing inequality that erodes social cohesion. Our economy consistently chooses profit at the expense of the ability of our planet to support life. The world needs to build a democratic economy owned by a broad cross-section of humanity, an economy that meets the needs of people in their communities and protects the ability of our Earth to support life. We know that cooperation and economic democracy can meet people's needs. It may not be perfect. They produce much better results than an economy designed to primarily serve capital. Will we muster the confidence and determination to build a democratic economy? To build an economy that will meet human need and protect our planet? Can we summon the strength to build an economy nurturing the very best of human nature, an economy fueled not by greed and selfishness, but by altruism, collaboration, and cooperation? It will not be easy. I am confident it can be done, but not yet convinced that it will be done. I am not an optimist nor a pessimist, but a hopefulist. I am hopeful we will see an explosion of cooperation and mutual self-help, community by community around the world. Create the means to make a democratic economy happen. I am deeply saddened that I'm not able to be with you today. However, I know that you will carry the torch forward. Thank you.
I don't know about y'all, but I think Mr. Webb was preaching. I don't know about y'all, but Lord have mercy. I was looking for the offering to go around there for a second. That said, I'm about 9 minutes off, so I apologize to y'all. I'm better than that. That'll go on my mid-year review, I'm sure. I'm sorry. So I think we can all agree tonight that all of these heroes, all of them have had unique journeys. They're all amazing cooperative heroes. Please join me one more time in a round of applause for all of these people. Thank you. So plaques commemorating tonight's inductees will join those of past inductees in the Cooperative Hall of Fame. The videos and biographies of the 2025 inductees will be added to the Hall of Fame website, heroes.coop. That brings us to the end of our program. Once again, our congratulations go to all the inductees and their families. Your leadership, dedication, and accomplishments inspire us all. A bit of housekeeping before we leave. First, we ask that all the inductees, their families, and plaque recipients go to the reception area for photos as soon as we adjourn. We want our first photo to be of the new inductees together. On behalf of the Cooperative Development Foundation, of which the board I'm honored to be a part of and to be the board chair, I want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. I hope tonight's program has renewed your commitment to the power of cooperatives and the good that they do for all people. And it's never too early to begin thinking about future Hall of Fame members. Nominees for 2026 have closed, but you can submit your nominations for 2027. We look forward to seeing you all at next year's Cooperative Hall of Fame. Pull out your phones now. Save the date, October 8th, 2026. Thank you. Have a good night and be safe.